Would you believe there's a spot on this strip that will slash 40% off every menu item all day, every Friday? This deal is a locals only, but for visitors, they also have a 50% off happy hour every day from 3 to 6, which includes all appetizers and many drinks. Now keep in mind, regardless of the deal, the food is incredible. And I know that probably sounds too good to be true, but it's not. We're talking scratch-made Irish comfort food served in one of the most authentic atmospheric pubs in town. And what is this gem, you ask? Today it comes in the form of a beautiful emerald, right inside Mandalay Bay at Rira Irish Pub. Entering Rira, one can see it's not your typical themed tourist trap. It's a living piece of Irish history. Much of the bar and woodwork inside was salvaged from old Irish pubs, churches, and even shipyards. In fact, some of the wood came from the same shipyard during the time the Titanic was constructed. That's not just ambiance. That's living, breathing storytelling built right into the walls. Welcome to Let's Eat Vegas, your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. We have a lot of food to cover, so let's get started. This is no ordinary steak. Imported from the Irish Nature Beef Company, it's a 12-ounce strip steak made from sustainable, pasture-raised, grass-fed New Zealand cattle. And that matters. These cows live the good life, roaming lush green fields, which translates into deep, clean, healthy, umami-rich flavor. The meat is so tender it practically cuts itself, with a smoky char on the outside and a melt-in-your-mouth center. It's finished with melted real Irish garlic butter, rich, fragrant, and indulgent, and served with a side of their homemade Irish mushroom country gravy. This is the kind of sauce you want to slather on everything, apart from your shirt, which happens to me all the time. That's why I always wear black. Well, that's a different story. And speaking of fries, these aren't just fries, they're proper chips, hand-cut from Kennebec potatoes. This particular variety is beloved by chefs for its ideal high starch and low moisture content and a white dense flesh that leads to excellent frying qualities. Rira double fries them, once to cook them through and a second time to get that addictive golden crust. It's a method that originated in Belgium and France and was the same one we used in our restaurant. The inside stays fluffy, the outside shatters with every bite. They're so good, they don't need a thing. But we brought our homemade ketchup as usual. I also requested their house-made ranch, which was thick, tangy, and herb-packed. But honestly, the Irish gravy might be the best dipping sauce of the bunch. The dish also comes with a generous helping of sautéed mushrooms and onions, seasoned just right, cooked until tender and packed with flavor. Altogether, this meal feels like a warm hug from an Irish grandmother who knows her way around a cast iron pan. So for under $23 on Fridays for locals, you're not just getting a killer steak deal, you're stepping into a bit of Irish heritage right on the Las Vegas Strip. Fish and chips may be a British classic, but it's been part of Irish food culture for over a century. The dish arrived in Ireland in the late 1800s following British rule and quickly took root, especially in working-class neighborhoods of Dublin and Belfast. Irish chip shops popped up across the country, offering affordable, hearty meals. Over time, the Irish made it their own, often favoring fresh Atlantic haddock or cod, thick-cut chips, and a simple malt vinegar or tartar sauce. Today, a proper bag of fish and chips wrapped in paper is just as Irish as it is English. Now let's talk about the version at Rira, because this one's a knockout. I first heard about this version on my food blog, as it was offered up many times to the question, who has the best fish and chips in Vegas? And after trying this, there's no doubt my food blog had it right. This isn't greasy pub grub. Rather, it's, as they say in Ireland, deadly grub. It's fine dining disguised as comfort food. The fish is wild-caught Icelandic haddock, flaky and snowy white with no trace of that dreaded fishy taste. That's the first test of quality, and Rira passes with flying colors. The batter is crisp and feather-light, echoing the best versions I had during my time in London. And the fries? Although my second encounter today, you never tire of something this tremendous. You get a choice of sauces, classic tartar or chipotle tartar. Sure, chipotle's not traditional, but it's a fun alternative. I had to order them both, And I asked for malt vinegar as well, since that's really what is meant to be used on this. That said, the fish is so flavorful, it barely needs any condiment at all. Oh, and don't forget to ask for mushy peas on the side. I love them. All in all, the fish and chips at Rira are worthy of every compliment I heard about this dish, and then some. Bangers and mash may sound more violent than delicious, but it's actually one of Britain's most beloved comfort foods, and it has a backstory. The name banger dates back to World War I, when meat shortages led sausage makers to pad their links with extra water and filler. That caused them to burst or bang when cooked too fast over high heat, and from that the name was born and stuck to this day. But don't worry, the explosions taking place at Rira is the explosion of flavors. These beauties are made from scratch in-house and they are a knockout. Normally $19.45, but on Friday with Rira's Locals deal, they're just $11.67. A price so good it feels like you time travel back to the 90s. As someone who used to make sausages by hand in my restaurant, believe me when I say, these are the real deal. They've got that clean, juicy pork flavor with the right balance of herbs and seasoning, almost like a Swiss Weisswurst and an Irish farmhouse recipe, and decided to stay for dinner. They're nestled on a cloud of mashed potatoes that are so creamy and buttery, it transported me back to the kitchen with my grandmother, who taught me how to make them the old school way, with heavy cream and no shortcuts. The grilled tomatoes are bright and tender. They remind me of the time I spent in England. You see them everywhere, and it's something I absolutely am thrilled to find served in Vegas. This is the kind of gravy that makes everything better. It's addicting, it's a proper brown gravy, homemade and rich with umami. It ties the whole dish together, like a warm blanket on a cold Dublin night. This dish isn't just a great deal, it's a heartwarming tribute to a timeless classic done right. Comfort food lovers, don't miss out. You also won't want to miss out on our latest reviews. But according to YouTube, 80% of you watching right now are not subscribed. Don't! Subscribing is free, helps us grow, and to bring you more reviews. And if you find value in our reviews, consider making a small donation using the link to buy me a coffee in the description area below. I have to admit, stew isn't something I'd usually order when I venture out to eat. But the man at the next table clearly saw me eyeing his bowl and said,
"Oh, the Irish stew's the real deal. I get it all the time."
And as luck would have it, he was Irish. So I took his advice, and I'm glad I did. What you're getting here is an authentic Irish-style stew. Tender chunks of chuck roast, simmered low and slow with Guinness stout, carrots, onions, potatoes, and a touch of barley for that hearty, stick-to-your-ribs finish. It's comfort food in a bowl. Heavy, rich, and unapologetically old school. They plate the mashed potatoes right in the center of the stew like a fluffy mountain rising from a meaty ocean. The flavor definitely brings back memories of the stews I had in England, though I'd argue the one here is better. Not quite at the level of a French beef bourguignon, but then again, that's a whole different ballgame. This is humble, homespun cooking, what you'd expect from a proper Irish kitchen. Historically, Guinness stew is a modern evolution of the traditional Irish stew made with mutton and root vegetables. Once Guinness became a national staple in the 1700s, Irish cooks began adding it to stews to deepen the flavor, and over time beef replaced mutton as the go-to protein. What you get now is a dish that's deeply Irish, but universal in its appeal. Now, the surprise MVP of the plate was the bread. It's a dense, house-baked Irish brown bread loaded with whole grains and nuts. Warm, rustic, and just begging to be dunked in gravy. I completely understand why this dish is a fan favorite. If you're in the mood for something warm, filling, and classic, this stew is calling your name. And on Fridays, it's not just a deal, it's a steal. If you're craving authentic Irish comfort food, this one's a knockout. The corned beef is fall-apart tender and deeply seasoned, bursting with that rich, meaty umami that only comes from a proper long brine and slow cook. It's the kind of old-world flavor that warms you from the inside out. Smothered in a silky white gravy, like the kind you'd find ladled generously in English pubs, this isn't just meat and sauce. It's a creamy, savory hug on a plate. And let's talk mashed potatoes. Fluffy, buttery, and cloud-like, they soak up the gravy and complete each bite with pillowy perfection. The fresh cabbage, gently cooked, adds just the right crispness and natural sweetness to break up all the richness. Though it's now a St. Patrick's Day staple in the United States, corned beef and cabbage isn't actually a traditional Irish dish. Back in Ireland, pork was more common, but when Irish immigrants came to America, they found beef was cheaper, and corned beef from Jewish delis became a flavorful substitute. Cabbage was affordable as well, and together they became a beloved Irish-American classic. This is a dish steeped in history, drenched in gravy, and you won't want to miss it. Our server told us we had to try Rira's bread pudding. And of course, that's all we had to hear. Just be careful, she warned. It comes out hotter than the face of the sun. And she wasn't kidding. The whipped cream melted off like a face in the Vincent Price Wax Museum flick. It arrived sizzling hot, packed with rich creamy custard and caramelized edges that had us scraping the plate. Two sweet ladies next to us leaned in and whispered the secret. Order the house-made caramel ice cream on the side. And for only $2.37, that's unheard of for any ice cream, let alone one this good. Silky, buttery, and with that deep caramel flavor that only comes from the real deal. Once you combine the two, molten bread pudding and chilled homemade caramel ice cream, you're in dessert heaven. The contrast in temperature and texture is pure magic. Well, this was the perfect ending to day one, and I can't wait for day two to finish off the review. I know, Caesar salad at an Irish pub, but I've been a sucker for a good Caesar ever since I first tasted one as a kid at Caesar's Grill in Tijuana. I still remember watching it made tableside, the waiter cracking the egg, mashing the garlic, and whisking everything together like it was a magic trick. Years later, it was one of our most sought-after dishes at my restaurant. So trust me, I know a thing or three. This version at Rira isn't traditional, but it's Vegas style. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I asked our server about it, and when she said the dressing was house-made and the croutons were scratch-made garlic bombs, well, that's all I needed to hear. The dressing is light and fresh, more like what you'd find at Buddy V's, Lavo, or Carmela's. Easy on the garlic, gentle with the anchovy, and loaded with citrusy brightness. It's not the bold, garlic-forward Caesar I used to make, but I love this style as well. It's clean, balanced, and you won't need to carry breath mints the rest of the day. And the croutons? Crunchy, garlicky, and fresh. Everything a crouton should be. No cardboard cubes here. If you're the type who judges a Caesar by its croutons, and you should, these pass with flying colors. This might not be the Caesar of old-school steakhouse lore, but it's one worth ordering. I give it my stamp of approval. Long before hash browns and tater tots took over breakfast menus, the Irish were already perfecting the art of the potato cake. Born out of necessity during tough economic times, Irish potato cakes, sometimes called boxty, were a way to stretch leftover mashed potatoes into something hearty and satisfying. With roots going back centuries, they became a staple across rural Ireland, often pan-fried and served with butter or cream. I love the way these are infused with cheddar cheese. It gives them that nice umami flavor that only cheese can impart. They're topped with a light, fresh Euro-style sour cream and a delicious balsamic reduction glaze. They're the perfect way to start your meal, or if you're here for happy hour from 3 to 6, they're a fantastic deal at half off. Shepherd's pie has been warming bellies since the late 1700s. It began as a humble dish in the Irish and English countryside, originally made with leftover roast lamb or mutton, hence the name shepherd's pie. Over time, ground beef became a popular substitute, especially in what's often called now cottage pie. Rira's version has a wrinkle. It includes both lamb and beef, making it a hybrid of the two. Either way, though, rich, hearty, and packed with flavor. This is the kind of meal that brings back memories for me. My mom taught me how to make it when I was just a kid, and it became a family favorite. It's the ultimate comfort food. The mashed potatoes on top are done just right. Smooth, buttery, and lightly golden. Beneath them is a piping hot mix of ground lamb and beef, carrots, peas, and a rich gravy that ties it all together. One bite, and I'm back in a pub in the Emerald Isle, soaking up the warmth of this old-school classic. And don't skip the soda bread. Baked without yeast, instead using baking soda as a leavening agent, it's dense and rustic. Not everyone loves soda bread, but I most assuredly do, especially when it's fresh out of the oven as this one is. It's a perfect partner for a dish like this. The Scotch egg dates back to 18th century England, believed to have been invented by Fortnum and Mason in London as a portable snack for travelers. Traditionally, it's a hard or soft-boiled egg wrapped in sausage, coated in breadcrumbs, and deep fried until golden. Over the centuries, it's become a beloved pub staple across the UK, but sadly, a rarity in the US. That's why I was thrilled to see this clever take on the classic. It's everything I love about Scotch eggs, with an extra pop of creativity. A soft-boiled egg is wrapped in homemade sausage, breaded and fried to crispy perfection. Then it's sliced in half, and the yolk is transformed into a creamy, mustardy, deviled egg-style filling. Then stuffed right back in. If you're a mustard fan, do yourself a favor and ask for the Coleman's mustard. It cuts through the richness and makes the whole dish sing. I absolutely love this appetizer and highly recommend it. This one's a crowd pleaser from the first bite. Homemade pork sausages wrapped in buttery puff pastry and baked until golden. It's basically the Irish cousin of pigs in a blanket, but elevated. These sausages are smooth, creamy, and perfectly seasoned, reminding me a bit of the Weisswurst I used to make back in my restaurant. They've got that refined, almost delicate texture you rarely find in American sausage. They come with a dill and herb dipping sauce. It's just terrific. It adds a cool, fresh contrast to the richness of the sausage. But if you're feeling bold, go full rogue Irish and dip them in HP sauce. I love its deep, malty kick. I got hooked on this stuff during my travels through Europe, along with Branston pickles, Pica Peppa, Nutella, and yes, even Marmite. These sausage bites are made for sharing, but you might end up keeping them all to yourself. It's such a treat to find a proper Irish breakfast here in the States. In the UK, it's everywhere, from Belfast to Brighton. You'll see it on chalkboards, pub menus, and airport cafes. I remember my first time in London. Got off the plane at Heathrow, and there it was, a giant poster of this very breakfast. Walking a little farther, boom, another one outside a tiny pub right in the terminal. You can't escape it. And honestly, once you've had it, you won't want to. The sausages here in America just can't compete. European sausage makers have been perfecting the craft for centuries. I learned the art from my grandparents, who made their own, and I've kept the family tradition alive. It's probably why I get excited anytime I see a place that does it right. Here, they serve a house-made black pudding, that's blood sausage for the uninitiated, and a pork sausage made with oatmeal, both packed with flavor. You also get a thin slice of traditional ham, grilled tomatoes and mushrooms, toast, and eggs cooked however you like. Oh, and don't forget the bachelor beans. They're so much better than any I've ever had. They're not canned Heinz, they're slightly sweet and very well seasoned. This is real stick-to-your-ribs comfort food, the kind that gets you through rainy days, hangovers, or run-of-the-mill doldrums. Nothing caps off a meal quite like an Irish coffee. And in an authentic Irish pub, you'd be crazy not to try one. The smooth blend of hot coffee, Irish whiskey, and cream pairs beautifully with dessert, especially when that dessert is this outrageous Oreo ice cream pie. This pie almost defies explanation. It's rich and creamy in the best way, with velvety vanilla ice cream nestled between layers of house-made Oreo crust. Now, the crust itself isn't just crushed cookies. It's a decadent blend of Oreos and shaved chocolate, giving it a deep, fudgy flavor that plays perfectly against the cold ice cream. It's indulgent, house-made, and unforgettable. If you're looking for a sweet finish, this is how you do it, Irish style. All I can say is, wow. This dessert is so decadently good. I'm pretty sure it's banned in at least 40 states. The snickerdoodle cookie is undercooked, and I know undercooked usually means bad, but not in this instance. Wonderfully gooey and melty with just the right hit of cinnamon. And it's hot. molten lava hot, so take the first bite carefully. I already tried the caramel sea salt ice cream on our first visit and made a firm decision, no matter what else, I'm ordering it again today. And let me tell you, it's the perfect partner in crime for this cast iron skillet of snickerdoodle madness. The cold creaminess of the ice cream against the warm, gooey, cinnamony cookie. Well, that's what you call pure dessert nirvana. Honestly, this might be one of the best dessert pairings I've had in a long time, at least since day one with the amazing bread pudding. Anyways, my dad used to say, if you don't order this, you're a fool. And in this case, he'd be absolutely right. You probably believe this strip is only for overpriced food and tourist traps. Well, think again. Rira Irish Pub proves that you can still find incredible scratch-made meals, old-world charm, and jaw-dropping deals right in the heart of Las Vegas, if you know where to look. From the incredible imported Irish strip steak, to the hearty, earthy Guinness stew, to the bang-on bangers and mash, to the legendary fish and chips. And of course, lest we forget, the indulgent, ever-on-your-mind desserts. Every dish tells a story. Some of the stories are about heritage, others are about craftsmanship, but all of them are about flavor. And on Fridays, when locals get 40% off the entire food menu, it feels less like a discount and more like a thank you note from Ireland itself. But wait, there's more. Every single day from 3 to 6 p.m. and 11 to midnight, Rira hosts a happy hour that knocks 50% off all appetizers and discounts on many drinks. That's right, 7 days a week. So whether you're here on a Tuesday or a Friday, you've got a reason to pop in and stay a while. You're not just getting a great meal, you're stepping into a living museum of Irish pub culture, right down to the woodwork used in the same shipyard as the Titanic. That's the kind of detail you don't just eat, you feel. Loosely translated, Rira means Divilment and good times. And so, it's the perfect name for this pub. Whether you're here for a pint and a Scotch egg, a full Irish breakfast, live performers, or just dessert and a laugh, Rira delivers. And at these prices, we'll be back to Rira Irish Pub very soon. Maybe even as soon as next Friday. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And don't forget to tell them, Let's Eat Vegas sent you. This would be a good time to hit the notifications bell so you get a reminder when the next review becomes available. And of course, it's always a good time to like, subscribe, comment, or share. It's free to do so, and it helps us to grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit!